name is Marge Gustowiak, and I'm a nurse, and I've been asked to speak to you today on communication. Communication begins at birth. We cry when we're hungry and we need to be fed. We cry when we're wet and we need to be changed. And we cry when we're lonely and want to be held up. This is pretty simple, but it gets a little more complicated as we go on in life. Communication, in my opinion, is the #1 reason that problems exist at home, at school, and in our work relationships. It is one of the most valued traits of most employees, yet it's the least taught. But you're in luck today because this video series has chosen to include communication as one of its tasks. To review what we'll be going over today, there's 4 basic areas. First, we'll take a look at the 4 components or pieces that make up every communication. Next, we'll go into the 2 different types of communication. Thirdly, we'll go into the 4 different styles of communication, and we're going to end up with tips on listening. We'll get started with the components or pieces of communication. There are 4. The first piece is the sender. This is the person giving the message. In the case of our video series today, I'm considered the sender. The second piece is the message, and that's the image, feeling, or idea that's being conveyed. In the example right now, tips on communication is what's considered the message. The third piece is the receiver, and this is the person that's getting the message. Given our situation again today, you would be considered the receiver. And finally is the feedback, and this is the reaction to the message. And to me, this is one of the most critical pieces of the communication components. In our example today, things you would share with people, either what you liked or didn't like or believe or didn't believe, would be the feedback to our communication taking place. These 4 components take place in all communication. Understanding this is one of the keys in good communication skills. Next, we'll go into 2 types of communication. This is verbal and nonverbal. Verbal is spoken or written. It includes talking, telephone conversations, letters, emails, and written reports. Some hints for good verbal communication is to always introduce yourself and make sure the person understands what you're about to do. Choose meaningful words. Never use slang, swearing, or gossip. Speak clearly and distinctly. We're going to be taking a look at a communication that takes place with Mary Lou, who you'll see in a flowered top, and Kathy, who's wearing a vest. Mary Lou needs Kathy to clean her room. So let's see if she's chosen her words carefully and that Kathy's clear on what she really wants done. Let's take a look.
Kathy, could you stop what you're doing, please?
What?
I just walked past Mrs. Gregg's room, and it is a mess.
So?
So, could you please clean it up?
Why can't you do it?
Because I'm the manager, and managers don't clean up rooms.
Well, just because you're the manager doesn't mean that you can't clean it up.
Kathy, you know that's your job. Please go do it. And if you don't like it, then punch out.
I'm busy preparing the meals. I don't have time to clean up her room. You do it.
Just go do it.
Fine.
I don't think that's probably what either one of them wanted in conclusion to that communication. Mary Lou is going to be a little more careful now on how she approaches Kathy and the types of words that she uses and how she explains what she needs to have done. So let's see if we can't come up with a better conclusion this time. Let's take a look.
Kathy, can you stop what you're doing, please?
What?
I just went past Mrs. Gregg's room, and she's having company tonight, and the room is a mess. It needs to be cleaned up.
So you do it.
Well, I can't do it because I have to pass the medications.
Well, I'm trying to prepare all the meals.
Well, why don't you finish preparing the meals, I'll finish the medications, and then we'll clean the room together.
Okay, so you want me to pass the meals first, and then you'll work with me and we'll clean our room together?
We'll do it together.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
Okay.
I think you'll agree with me that that was a much better conclusion. You may also be involved in some written reports in your work. Now we're going to take a look in on Betty, who's a supervisor, and she's reviewing the report from the night before. Listen to what the report has in it and pay attention if there is some blaming that was taking place or some gossip that might have been introduced. Let's listen in on Betty's report.
Let's see what's in the report for me today. This place looks like a pigsty when I came on. I heard Sarah was out late drinking. Sarah's a messy worker, and we always have to pick up after her. She never gets her work done. When are you going to do something about this?
Now, I think Betty got a message with that report, but I think it might be a little colored by some of the gossip and some of the blaming that took place. Let's take a look at that very same report that's written differently, taking away the blaming and the gossip, and think what kind of message Betty got this time.
Let me see what's in the report for me today. This unit was a real mess when we came on. Clothes were not put away, the dining room tables was not washed, the garbage was overflowing. Let's discuss this. Betty, can we talk about this? I think that's a good idea.
Now, Betty got the same information, but the gossip and the blaming was taken out of it. I think she'll be able to approach this by addressing the problem rather than attacking the person and probably get some better results. Now, the next area we're going into is nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication includes gestures, welcoming people, being closed off to people. It includes posture and body movement. It includes touch. You can have a gentle touch or you can have a firm touch. I need you to pay attention here. Eye contact is considered nonverbal communication. Silence, when you're wanting people to pay attention. And size. We're going to take a look at Betty on the telephone. Sarah's calling in, and I want you to pay attention to what Betty's body language is telling you about Betty's reaction to this phone call.
Fourth floor, Betty Hochstein, nurse. May I help you? Yes, Sarah? You're calling in. You realize that it's already 3 o'clock and you're calling in at 3? Yes, Sarah? Do you have a headache? Well, Sarah, consider this a verbal warning. I know you have a headache, but you have to give us amount of time for a call-in. Okay, Sarah, but this is a verbal warning. Goodbye, Sarah.
Could you tell that Betty was a little upset with that call? We're going to take a look at that same call now, and Betty's going to be showing a little more compassion and look for her tone of voice and her gesturing and her lack of size and see how that makes a difference in how that message is received.
Fourth floor, Betty Hochstein, nurse. Yes, Sarah. You're calling in? You don't